ASMR. Today I have a rather special topic planned. I have prepared a video about the devil. As a matter of fact, I have prepared 13 facts about the devil because 13 is an unlucky number and I thought it would be well fitted or something. But anyways, the reason why I wanted to do a video about the devil is often portrayed as evil, and I'm curious to see what people from the Middle Ages or something, or another time period, thought was evil, so, if you get my point. Yeah, anyways, without further ado, let me just get into this little video for you. That rhymes. Fact number 1. The devil has been called many names throughout history: Beelzebub, Satan, Lucifer, etc. He's most likely seen as the nemesis of good people and the embodiment of pure evil. He is often displayed with horns and hoofed feet. However, that was not always the case. Fact number 2. It's commonly thought that the devil first showed up in the Bible in the book of Genesis as the serpent who convinced Eve, who then convinced Adam, to eat forbidden fruit from the tree of knowledge in the Garden of Eden. As the story goes, after Eve fell for the devil's ways, she and Adam were banished from the Garden of Eden and doomed to mortality. We're all doomed to mortality. Oh no. I'm sorry. Just a little existential crisis. So as you can see already here, the devil is portrayed as a snake, as a serpent, not as a creature with horns and hoofed feet, as many people think was always the case, but it's not. Fact number 3. Many Christians believed the devil was once a beautiful angel named Lucifer who defied God and fell from grace. This assumption that he is a fallen angel is often based on the book of Isaiah in the Bible, which says, hold on, this is not easy, certainly not for a native English, a non-native English speaker. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? So, yeah, basically, as I already said, this kinda led to the assumption of Lucifer being a fallen angel. Fact number 4. Also, I apologize for any background noise. I'm sure there's probably some already on this video, but I'm filming this during the daytime, because I have to work later on this day. Yay. Anyways, moving on to fact number 4. During the Middle Ages, the devil's appearance changed drastically. A 6th century mosaic from a church in Ravenna, Italy, shows the Last Judgment, and the satanic figure appears as an ethereal blue angel. This angelic imagery will ultimately be shed in favor of a more demonic appearance. I'm sorry. So, at first in the 6th century, the devil was portrayed as a blue angelic being, which, is interesting to see how much that changed. Anyways, fact number 5. Many of the devil's animalistic traits can be traced back to influences from earlier religions. One of the first was found in ancient Babylonian texts. Wicked demons named Lilitu. These winged female demons flew through the night, seducing men and attacking pregnant women and infants. In the Jewish tradition, these demons evolved into Lilith, Adam's first wife. Lilith came to embody lust, rebellion, and ungodliness, traits later linked to the Christian devil. It's interesting to see that there's like a connection between different religions. I mean, obviously there is, but it's also cool to see that that's also the case with the devil and what's evil. Moving on to fact number 6. Classical influences also played a role in the development of the Christian devil. As Christianity took root in the Roman world, early worshippers rejected pagan gods and believed them to be evil spirits. Pan, half god and half man, was a lusty god of nature whose carnal appetites made him easy to associate with the forbidden. His goat horns and cloven hooves became synonymous with sin and would later be adopted by artists in their horrific images of the devil. So here we can clearly see that where the hoofed feet and the horns came from. Yeah, that's really interesting to me. But yeah, moving on to fact number 7. The idea that the devil governs hell may have come from the poem by Dante, the Divine Comedy, published in the early 14th century. In it, God created hell when he threw the devil and his demons out of heaven with such great power that they created an enormous hole in the center of the earth. Yeah, that's also like a cool story, so apparently, according to the Bible, God threw out Satan out of heaven, so which means he's a fallen angel, and his impact created hell. Yeah. Moving on to fact number 8. During the 14th century, Europe faced a dark period, blighted by the Black Death, famine and war. Fear of the devil and his influence increased, as evidenced by an explosion of witch hunts. The church believed that the devil sought out women as partners. Witches would sign pacts and engage in evil on his behalf. People were no longer seen as merely deceived by Satan, but in active collusion with him against God. By this time in European history, the devil no longer sat passively. Taking an active role, Satan is present in the world, stealing souls and recruiting people to do his bidding. And if you actually believe that, imagine what a terrifying place Earth must have been during those times. Not only are you pestered by the Black Death, famine and war, they also believed that Satan was literally making pacts with women to inflict evil in the world. Which is a scary thought, if you ask me. A very scary thought indeed. Moving on to fact number 9. Fear of the devil is at least partially responsible for the witchcraft hysteria of Europe and New England in the 16th and 17th centuries. Protestants and Catholics accused many people of practicing witchcraft and making deals with the devil. The deals with the devil, like as already mentioned in the previous fact, that comes from the belief that the devil made pacts with people to inflict evil upon humanity. Dum dum dum. Fact number 10. The Puritans living in New England's early colonies were petrified of the devil. They believed he gave power to witches to those faithful to him. This fear gave rise to the infamous Salem witch trials in Salem, Massachusetts. I'm sure you all heard of the Salem witch trials. Fact number 11. The Puritans' strict lifestyle, their fear of outsiders, and their terror of the so-called devil's magic led them to accuse at least 200 people of witchcraft between 1692 and 1693. 20 of the accused were executed. Some sources also claim that these accusations were caused by mass psychosis induced by an illness. And this is interesting because I was watching Vikings, the Netflix show, the show that's also available on Netflix, with my girlfriend, and there's a scene where Athelstan, he is having these, how are they called in English? He's having these, he's seeing blood going out of his hands and from his head, and I was telling to my girlfriend that maybe in those times, when when psychosis happens, because Athelstan had been crucified and almost died at a cross in the series. He was having like PTSD, in my opinion, and maybe in those times people would have thought that if they had like psychosis or something or hallucinations, they would think of it as a sign of the gods, or sign of God. And yeah, as you can see here, maybe there's some sources that say the witch hunts were induced by mass psychosis caused by an illness, because some illnesses can also cause your brain to do some hallucinating and stuff like that, which is interesting to see. Fact number 12. Not all religions shun the devil, though. People of the Church of Satan, known as Satanists, don't worship the devil, but embrace him as a symbol of atheism, pride, and liberty, among other things. Another type of Satanists, theistic Satanists, worship the devil as a deity. They may practice satanic rituals or even make satanic pacts. Or maybe they will think they make satanic pacts. I'll just leave that in the middle. The last fact, fact number 13. Most other religions and cultures teach of an evil being who roams the earth wreaking havoc and fighting against the forces of good. In Islam, the devil is known as shaitan, and like the devil in Christianity, is also thought to have rebelled against God. In Judaism, Satan is a verb and generally refers to a difficulty or temptation to overcome instead of a literal being. In Buddhism, Mara is the demon that tempted Buddha away from his path of enlightenment. Like Christianity's Jesus resisted the devil, Buddha also resisted temptation and defeated Mara. For those who don't follow a religion, the devil is almost always synonymous with fear, punishment, negativity, and immorality. That last phrase is why I think this is such an interesting topic, because I think it is really interesting to see what people regard and what people depict as evil, because evil is just it's just an interpretation of morality, and it's interesting to see that how people throughout history were actually bound to a moral code, let's say moral law, during like medieval times, where evil is like the devil himself, like it's a literal evil being. It's not just, I don't know, in today's world, when you do something evil, we don't believe that Satan is going to hunt us. I mean, some people might believe in karma or stuff like that, but most people, they will just like think, I did something bad, I hope that person doesn't find out. But in medieval times, if you did something bad and you actually believed in the Christian way, I mean like you were religious, you would have to fear Satan or the devil or hell, which would have been so terrifying. Also, like it would give the church so much power, because the church is there like saying, I can save your soul, and you're like, oh my god, I've done evil stuff, because humans always do evil or bad things, and you're like, I have to follow him, his word, and say what he has to do what he has to say, because in that way I will save my soul and I will be able to enter heaven. And I mean, like, that's just interesting, like seeing the grip of Christianity or religion on society back then, and reading about it, and also like all these kinds of, I mean, like just Google it once, like Satan throughout medieval times, and you'll find a bunch of interesting articles. Anyways, I'm rounding this video up, and I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope you thought this was somewhat interesting and relaxing. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video. video. Don't forget to like and subscribe though.